Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to a fresh look than my previous attempt. Today, I want to look at Max 9's Ableton DSP stuff. Um, if you joined me for the last hour, we tried to look at the REPL stuff, and I think I came into it thinking that the REPL did something fundamentally different than it's actually designed to do. So it ended up being a little bit underwhelming because it was basically just me hitting error messages and not quite sure how it was or what it was supposed to be doing. So I decided to bail, get myself a drink, go and find my glasses because I couldn't figure out why I was like squinting at the screen the whole time. And yeah, so I want to start kind of afresh. I want to look at something different. I want to hopefully get some nice sounds and figure out maybe this time figure out on Cycling 74's side, come at this from their perspective. What are they trying to do with Ableton DSP? What should I be using it for? Because maybe I came into REPL with the wrong energy. But yeah, I want to find out what they want Ableton DSP to do. So yeah, let's get into it. Ableton DSP package is a collection of objects that bring Ableton Live devices and high-level DSP components into Max. From oscillators to modulators, filters to reverbs, these objects provide building blocks that speed up patch creation. Okay. Now, when I looked at this last week, I kind of uncharitably, perhaps, asked if this was similar to the kind of beep modules. So for anyone that hasn't used them before, they're kind of like pre-built little B-patcher modules that do a thing in Max. So like they kind of take care of some kind of building block kind of things, like you might have a bunch of oscillators or some LFO kind of modulation stuff, and it's all kind of pre-built for you and sort of drops in there. And as someone that kind of like teaches Max to people, I have mixed feelings about that. And some people like quite rightly pointed out in the chat and in the comments that like, hey, I use Visi, I use Beep, and it's really, really helpful for me. And don't get me wrong, like there's nothing wrong with it at all. I just worry that the kind of pre-built, ready-made, ready-rolled kind of things, I think for some people, particularly people that are coming into Max new, I think they can often kind of be like a little bit of a crutch and like maybe don't push people into kind of learning all of the beautiful, wonderful things that Max has to offer because there's like a kind of convenient ready-made thing there. And I was wondering if the Ableton DSP stuff is going to serve that purpose and it's kind of going to be just like a sort of drag and drop thing in your Max patch so you don't end up doing it. I think that's the kind of cynical side of things, but I hope that that's not the case. I think this is actually going to be doing some interesting things. And I think one of the things that I think, so, my kind of workflow is that I like work on Max, I make patches and I do things, and then ultimately I'll either record out or I'll patch through or I'll do something in Max for Live in Ableton, and I'll kind of assemble something in Ableton. And I would love it if I can use some of this Ableton DSP stuff to kind of do some of the bits that I would previously do in Ableton, but in Max. So, last week we were saying, well, this is, we had Max for Live, being able to open Max inside Ableton, and now they've given us Live for Max, being able to open Ableton inside Max. So let's get into it. Let's see what we're offering here. So straight away in this kind of this is the user guide to the Ableton DSP. So I'm going to read through it first just to try and get an idea of what Cycling 74, the makers of Max, kind of think it's doing. So it does look, in the first instance, like a kind of ready-made object, right? So we've got Drift, which is one of the synths in the kind of built-in synths in Ableton. The Dark Hall reverb, I think that's the hybrid reverb, or like one of the voices or settings of it. And then into a limiter, because clearly whoever made this didn't like blowing up their speakers or their headphones. Something behind me just fell. I have two cats that are currently going ballistic around the house, so the room seems to be in one piece. So, okay, so a basic patch that they're starting us off here. But we've got some kind of fundamental kind of parameter controls here. Nothing unusual. Okay. The prefixes ABL device and ABL DSP are used to distinguish between objects that wrap entire live devices and objects that wrap DSP components. For instance, ABL device utility has the same functionality as live utility device. So the live utility device, I think, is that the one that sort of does like phase summing, and live stereo switching and things like that? Or is that a kind of gain control or something like that? Actually, rather than just guess, I should probably have a look. Oh yeah, okay. Phase switching and output gain. Cool. Oh, just realized I don't think I have a cough button. Apologies. Okay, so that's the device, whereas ABL DSP ramp wraps one of the modulators in Live's meld instrument, and DSP shimmer wraps one of the Live hybrid reverb. Okay, so shimmer being kind of part of the same thing that the dark hole is from. So, okay, that's interesting already, because it's not giving us, I assume from that, it's not giving us the whole hybrid reverb as an object. It's giving us a kind of module from within that, right? So that's worth knowing. And similarly, what did they mention? Ramp from the meld instrument. So again, it's not the meld instrument, it's a bit of it. So that's kind of interesting. I guess one of the things that we're going to have to learn then is what are the modules and what are they from? Hey, this could be a quick, useful use case for the REPL help function, the manual or question mark command, where you quickly want to get a description without opening the help patch. Leonard in the chat said, REPL seems good to me because we can open any of our old patches, change the scripting names. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's kind of nice actually. That's quite a nice use case for REPL. So yeah, let's not write it off just yet. I think you know, Max 9 only came out what, like last week. I think there's going to be a lot of stuff that I might kind of initially look at and be like, nah, that's not for me or whatever, or it's too basic or something. And actually, it just needs a little bit of time to kind of make its use known. So thanks, Leonard. Yeah, I think it's really useful to kind of think about what we might end up wanting to use this for. Okay, back to the DSP stuff. In most Ableton DSP objects, there are a select number of parameters that can be changed as either attributes or signals. For example, the ratio attribute of the harmonic FM can be controlled via a third inlet. When a signal is connected to the inlet, the attribute will become disabled and signal takes over control. Okay, so we do have audio rate control of some aspects then. And they, well, that's the same as a lot of objects, right? We can patch in like a float number to control something, or we can patch, like our cycle sine wave. We can control that with just a frequency, number, but we can also modulate it from the signal output from something else. So that seems similar there. Oh, well, that's exciting. Unlike most Max objects, Ableton DSP objects offer internal parameter smoothing. Whenever a float type attribute is changed at event rate, from an attrui or float inlet, for example, a short ramp is applied instead of immediately stepping. So we're not going to get the clicking, like tick, 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 when you change the delay time of something then. That's nice. This mitigates zipper noise as attributes are changed at event rate. However, if you control a parameter at signal rate by attaching it, no extras. However, if you control a parameter at signal rate by attaching a signal to an inlet, no extra smoothing. Oh, so it's only on some. Okay. Okay, that's interesting. I wonder Yeah, we're gonna have to do a bit of playing around because I know, if you create like a delay line, for instance, in Max, like with a tap in or a tap out object, if you change that delay time, even if you do it at signal rate, you can still end up with that kind of unpleasant zipping. So okay, so that's it. That's what they've said about Ableton DSP. Let's find out. Have they got a list of what the new objects are? Frequency domain. So okay, that's just FFT. I've had some messages asking about frequency domain stuff because I said I would do a video a while back. I have written the video on frequency domain stuff, so like PFFT, like stuff and Fourier transform. I just haven't got around to recording it because I haven't written the second part of the video. And I know when I made the granular synth video, I made part 1, and then it took me a year to make part 2. So I thought I would learn from my previous mistake, and rather than make part 1 of the frequency domain video and then take a year to write the second part, I thought I would just wait for as long as it takes for me to write the second part. Smart. Okay, back to Ableton. Okay, I kind of thought that there would be a big old list, maybe in my reference. Maybe in my user guide, maybe in Learn. Let's open Learn. It's going to be MSP, isn't it? Okay, I gotta say, I don't know if this is new for Max 9, but the overhauled like online help files and the reference stuff, is that what we just read? I absolutely love. So thank you, Cycling74, for giving us really nice documentation. God, that's a sad insight into my life that I'm like genuinely endeared to nicely presented and nicely searchable documentation. Okay, so he says not finding the thing that he wants. Let me have a quick look just here. Huh. Okay. Damn it. Right. Okay. Oh. Right. Okay. There's nothing else for it. We're gonna have to dive in. We're gonna have to go into Max proper. So let's move this down here. Where am I on your screens? Let's move this. Apologies, I know I'm moving the screen about a little quickly, and that can make some people feel a bit seasick. Let me just settle down, close your eyes, just while I move stuff. I was just about to say let's open the console so we can see the REPL commands, but let's leave it there. Okay, right, so you can open your eyes again if you were feeling nauseous from all the movement. Okay, here we are. Right, I've got my Max patch. We talked about this last week, but I love all of the syntax coloring. And yes, obviously I went in and made my own theme. So, custom color schemes, completely unnecessary, but my God, I love it. Okay, objects. Let's open the object menu. There we go. Okay, we've got a big old list of stuff. Here we go. Okay. Right. So we've got dynamics, effects, filters, generators, instruments, modulators, oscillators, pitch, and utility. What's the difference between a generator? Oh, okay, right. And an oscillator. Lots of oscillators, and then an instrument. Oh, okay, so that's interesting. I expected there to be more instruments because we've seen mention of other, we saw the meld instrument mentioned already in the documentation, and I kind of expected that would be there. but it's not. So I wonder if that is somewhere else. Is it an oscillator? Okay. A swarm of oscillators with modulation. Oh, that could be fun. If you can do like Boyd flocking or something with it. FM folding. Okay. Yeah, so this stuff is kind of looks nice. They're kind of simple objects. That could be useful. Do I want to start with an instrument, or do I want to just start with... I quite liked the harmonic FM thing. I had a quick look at it last week. I mean, let's start with the device. I don't think I looked at this last week. So we'll kind of work our way through the signal chain. We'll start with some kind of oscillator, either this drifted device or one of the kind of oscillators, and then we'll kind of work through, take a look at some of the effects, maybe some modulation, and then get to it. So the first thing I'm going to do is, just because it's a new skill that I've learned and I want to practice it, let's see what they say in the REPL about device.drift. Okay, so the help file just says drift synthesizer. Let's just open the help file, shall we? See what they say. There we go. Okay, we've got an example. Open the reference to. Oh, okay, that is the description. God, I need to stop. I need to stop being so underwhelmed by what REPL gives me. Okay, drift synthesizer. Kind of expected some more documentation there, like description about what it is. But okay. So it's going to show us our different. So we got. So it's the amount of variation per voice. Oh, okay. So I've not really used drift all that much, but it's their kind of analog-y-ish sounding-ish synthesizer thing, right? So what have we got going on here? I think maybe I looked at this briefly last week. How's that sound for anyone in the chat? Is that okay? Okay, so and then it's just basic control of different parameters. Huh, okay. Yeah, okay. Thanks, Sacred Geometry. Welcome back. Okay. I think I'm just cursed at the moment because everything I sound just sounds horrible. Okay, maybe this sound is cursed. Right, let's turn that off for a second just while I look through here. So we got oscillators, description, oscillators. Cool. Low pass noise, envelope control, voices, modulation. Okay, fair enough. This looks fairly basic. Okay, I tell you what, I'm gonna change tact because I want to maybe. This just looks like it's going to do everything for me. So let's leave this and let's use that harmonic fold thing that we saw because that looked promising. Was it harmonic FM? A macro oscillator. Well, not going to bother with REPL. Macro oscillator that smoothly fades between FM oscillators with increasing modular ratios. So on this, have we got any audio rate input? FM ratio, FM amount, frequency. Okay. So I wonder if, in fact, actually, I know, hang on. I'm going to do a sort of, here's one I made earlier. I'm teaching a class next week that needs is kind of like a basic intro to synthesis. Why have I got no recent? Is it this one? Starter synth. I think it was this. Yeah, okay, right. So it's just a kind of intro to synthesis for students. So it's a basic poly patch that's just kind of doing, well, let's just play something. Here's one I made earlier. Right. So this is just kind of super basic additive synthesis stuff. Like it's a poly patch. There we go, you can see it. That's just sine wave, triangle wave, sawtooth wave, rectangle wave inside a poly object with a little ADSR. So what I thought I might try and do, just because we've got a sequencer hooked up, we've got some randomization, poly, and an ADSR, which are things that I don't want to look too much at now. Maybe we just get inside our poly and switch it out for some of these ABL devices. Because then we could kind of get some nice sounds going without... Actually, it dawns on me now. I wonder... Do we think these Ableton instruments are just going to have polyphony kind of built in? Because these aren't just oscillators, are they? They're like instruments. They're like self-contained things. So maybe they're already... Ooh. That would be nice, wouldn't it? If they're going to take care of that. Okay, so let's take my sequencer. Let's take these little bits. Let's just borrow these. Close that for a second. Come over here. Actually, no. Close it. Come over here. And let's see if we can find out if... So what am I doing here? I'm taking... I think I was just making, like... Let's find out. Yeah, so I'm just making like pitch velocity pairs here. So I'm going to have to I'm just going to do an M2F first of all. Ah, no, hold on. If this is taking frequency, it's not taking MIDI note values, is it? So it's not taking a MIDI note because this isn't an instrument. This is an oscillator. Ah, so maybe it's not going to do that. Let's find out what it's doing. So it is literally just taking mono signal. So actually it's not going to do anything polyphonic because it's not taking a MIDI note. So it doesn't understand notes. So if I want that to work, I would have to do what I had in the other patch, which is have it inside a poly object. Okay, well let's come back to what was the instrument that they had. Instrument device. So is that taking MIDI format? Okay, so this is taking MIDI. So this might handle polyphony. Let's have a look. Is it a message output or is it a... Okay. What is it going to accept? So we've got envelope attack, decay, we've got envelope control. I wonder if I can hook it up to this new, it's not new, live ADSR UI thing. Just have some better control there. Because otherwise I'm just... it's quite a lot of attributes, isn't there? Let's get rid of those for the time being. So what is my envelope? I mean, I'm assuming that envelope 1 is going to be mapped to amplitude. But is there a way that we can control that? Drift. Oh, okay, it's tuning, right. Tuning drift. That makes sense. Should have thought about that. What amount? Can anyone see anything in this massive list of tiny attributes about amplitude, or should we just assume that it's envelope 1 and that they've done envelope 1 is amplitude, envelope 2 is mapped to filter? Oh, mod source. Oh, let's find out. There we go. Mod source destination, yeah. Actually, here's something I was thinking about the other day when I was making this. Does anyone know if the live, what's it called? Ooh, live step object can do polyphony? Because I know on the live grid you can have a polyphonic mode where you can have two kind of cells shaded at the same time. But I couldn't find a way of getting this to kind of give me multiple notes like a piano roll, which I feel like it should be able to do that. But if anyone knows how to do that, just drop it in the chat. This is, I'm going to make this too fast. You know what I'm going to do? I'm finding it hard to follow exactly. Like, I've just got so many options of things here, and I don't actually know what the original instrument is doing. I'm going to quickly have a look. Is this the live reference? Let's find drift. Okay, let's not find drift. How am I going to find out about drift? Tell me about drift. Is that what it's called? What's going on here? we're on live 12. Why is it giving me the live 11 help files? Huh. Right, so we're going to do this the old-fashioned way. I'm going to have to open... Oh, no. Oh. I haven't really used this yet, so I don't really know what to expect. But I want to have a look at the drift instrument that this thing is modeled on to kind of get a sense of the kind of thing that it's supposed to be able to do, right? Okay. Instruments. Drift. Let's have a look at this. We're going to have to contend with the weird size. Let's move it up here so you guys can see it a little better. So, okay, so it looks a little bit like the kind of basic analog synth. We've got two oscillators here, pitch modulation, a filter, envelopes, LFO. Actually, this is a lot like the old analog instrument. Is it just the analog instrument, but the pitch kind of wanders a little bit? Is that what this is about? Okay. So I can just think about it like a fairly basic kind of digital analog synth emulator. Fair enough. Okay. I said this last week, but it feels a little weird to have to open or to want to open the original in order to find out what the thing is doing from Max. Like, I feel like I want a clearer overview. Yeah, analog already does the pitch drift thing because you could just map the LFO to the kind of pitch detune. In fact, you can do some quite nice envelope stuff with the pitch. But yeah, I'm curious about what drift is about. What's this? What? Okay. It's a bit weird to be in Max and have to open Ableton to find out. I wonder if this is like an early implementation and they'll kind of gradually fill this out a little more. We have voice control. We have envelope control. We have filter control. We have oscillators. So it kind of just does basic analog synth voice stuff. Fair enough. I think, yeah, so I think this could be useful if you just need a basic synth voice and you want to just drag something in and go. This goes back to what I said earlier about kind of beep and Visi and those things. So let's try something different then. Let's go back to that patch that I had open a minute ago, the original for this. This is the work in progress for this class that I'm doing. Let's go back to this and take this simple, take this. And poly, and I want to try that harmonic fold thing because I bet we can do some nice things if that's polyphonic, and we can kind of have some like nice slow ambient kind of ramping, which is, you know, my middle name. Let's call it harmonic poly, and let's just have it 8 voices to start with. And what else? I'm going to come back to this in a second. Yes, I know there's no. Oh, okay. What do I call that? My teaching materials. For anyone that's about to take Muzz 1002 Materials of Music, this is a spoiler of what you've got to look forward to. And also what the rest of my weekend is going to be spent doing, because I need to finish building that synth. Okay, so I've got my basic poly object. We're going to delete my simple waveforms. We're not going to do all of my... Well, let's keep one offset, just because it's kind of nice. this is just my sort of process for adding pitch transposition for octaves. So we'll patch that in there. So this then should be outputting frequency ratio, right? From no, hertz, frequency in hertz. That's what it's outputting. So we're going to take this. We're not going to need all of those outputs. So just a reminder for those of you that hate poly and can never get it to work, which is to say everyone, I'm running this patch inside my kind of main patcher out here, right? So I'm going to be sending it in some MIDI notes, and then in here I'm going to do all of the envelope generation through the live ADSR and the synthesis. So for that I'm going to drop in this Ableton, this would be a DSP rather than, so harmonic FM, which I'm hoping is going to take frequency, yes. And I'm hoping, I was just going to output a mono channel. All right, well, let's get rid of that then. And then I want to figure out, so it's going to take FM amount and FM ratio. So let's say FM amount and FM ratio. So I could do this through the inlets. I could send these in, like create another kind of in one, in two. But I'm just going to use send and receive, or S and R objects from outside, just so I don't have to mess around with that. So I'm going to save this now. I'm going to close this. And in fact, actually, I bet I can just take this and go back. Okay, we're playing with fire here. If I hit don't save, I'm going to do it. YOLO. I'm going to go back to my starter patch because that had this in it. I'm going to create a new version. What am I going to save it as? Save it as. I'm going to call it harmonic starter synth. Then, what was the name of that patch? Harmonic poly. Here we go. So with a bit of luck, this patch will work as the main one did. So I'll have my, here's one I made earlier of the ADSR and my octaves. I only need one of those now. Should work. God, this is real moment of truth stuff. Okay. What's the Jurassic Park? Hold on to your butts. Everyone watch your ears in case this is horrible. Okay, it is horrible, but it's not deafening. So why is it doing that? Have I not initialized? Interesting. What are we doing? What am I doing wrong here? Okay, I was terrified there, like heart in mouth, that everything was going to blow up. Okay, I kind of like this. This sort of works. So we have, just to run you through this patch, we've got just some basic sequencer stuff. This is really nothing super interesting. I'm using the live step. I've got a transport and a metronome. Every now and then I can randomize the order, so instead of just counting through those 16 steps, I could just switch on just to move randomly. Or I could just scramble the whole order of things, or I could do some... Go watch my sequencing video for other things that you could do here. So I think because I've done this, we've got duration as well. So some of these... can play around. So we have some notes ringing out a little longer. I'm going to slow this down. Okay. Okay. So I will take this down as well as we did before, right? We did that. Okay. Keen ears among you will realize that I've already got a reverb on because I just needed a quick reverb to slap on, which, you know, I think that might be one of the kind of hallmarks of what we're using this ABL stuff for. But this was for a class that I was preparing, am preparing for next week, with just like a quick synthesizer for people to use. So I've got some playing with duration here. Let's bring everything up. Let's bring over this. That's obviously not a sign. In fact, we can just get rid of that, can't we? We don't need that anymore. So this is about that harmonic fold oscillator. So I'm just going to try and remember. So S, harmonic. Did I call it harmonic ratio or harm ratio? Let's see if it's harmonic ratio and... Ooh. Harmonic fold, maybe? And I'm just going to assume that we're just taking like a float from 0 to 1. Okay, I can't hear what that's doing, so I'm going to assume I've got the names wrong. Let's open this again. FM amount and FM ratio. So FM amount, it wasn't harmonic fold, it was FM amount. It's kind of quiet. Is the sound okay in the chat? Can someone just confirm if you can kind of hear this as I've been? Oh, FM. So, is this the kind of thing then? We read earlier when we were reading the kind of intro, it talked about internal smoothing, right? So, Whenever a float type attribute is changed at event rate, a short ramp is applied. I mean, maybe we don't need to do it if we're just sort of warping stuff slowly. I'm not getting any of that kind of zipper noise here, so maybe it's not an issue. So I could then just do like, if we wanted this to just sort of warp over time, I could use like rand. I could set a nice slow speed. And then, what's rand giving us? 0 to 1. So rand tilde, for anyone that hasn't used it, is like a slewed random and a slowly interpolated random. So if you think of an oscillator as just being like a slow moving wave like that, your rand object is going to just sort of fluctuate kind of nicely at audio rate, right? So I can do that, and I want to go from 0 to, let's go 3. Oh, and I just said that I wasn't going to do it at audio rates. Idiot. Okay. Oh, minus. Okay, so it's probably going from -1. Now, one of the things that's surprising me, but maybe it shouldn't, because I guess it's continually being sent. So maybe if I turn target off, so we're hearing the sound is being, turn this down because it's a little piercing. The sound is being warped, like, as it changes. So if we think about the order of events, because I'm working with poly here, I'm triggering a note, and at that point, poly is kind of creating an instance of our harmonic poly patch, right? So it's sort of, you can think of it as like creating a voice, creating an instance of ABL DSP harmonic FM or whatever it's called. And then that's playing, and then there's like, when that ends, so when the ADSR ends, it'll send a done action to kind of turn that instance of the harmonic poly off, right? But because we're passing through the send object, it's being updated throughout the kind of life cycle of that harmonic poly. So it's not like, I was thinking that when I created this, that what would happen is we'd create a voice, a note, and that would have, at the point it was instantiated, it would have an FM amount, and it would stay static, and then the note, and then another note would be created, and that would have a different FM amount, and that would run. But it's being updated all the time. I wonder if that's the target's fault, or if we just, because the other way we could do it is literally just like only like poll this when we create a note, so we send a MIDI message and we could do it like that. But I wonder if we turn target off, because target is basically saying send this to all values, and I guess that means values that have currently been created. So if we do this, I'm actually going to turn the volume down just in case. Okay, done like that. Quick, go back, go back. Oh no, what have I done? I've killed it. I've killed it. Ah! What's happened? Ah, I hate poly. I think I have to set this up again, because for some reason this doesn't get... That's still warping because target. Okay, let's try that again. I've obviously done something stupid where this needs to be updated when the poly changes. Like I need to send an octave because I haven't set a default octave value. Can I do that? Can I do that in the patch? Can I send like... Yeah, I guess I can send a load bang, can't I? So actually, let's set a... Sorry everyone, I've got distracted again. Let's set a default kind of sound that will sort of... So this message is going to be my default ADSR value. So I'll copy that. I'm going to open my poly, unlock it, edit it. And I'm going to have that. Stick that over here. And then I am going to have a load bang. Send that here, and then I'm also going to have a load bang octave, which is just a number, right? So I can just send, I think 2 is no octave. 2 is no octave in my weird little octaves shifting thing. So I can send that over here. I can send this over here. And these will just be my like default values. Got to keep things tidy. In fact, actually, got to keep things needlessly tidy, and I'm looking for the Control K hide unlock. There we go. So we're just going to hide those away. Right, so let's do that. Let's turn the volume down, get rid of that. So I'm hoping that when I think I've made a mistake. I think I know what's about to happen, but if anyone wants to correct me in the chat, now's your time to do it. Yeah, okay. I think I've confused things. I think what I've done is that I've I think now every time one of those instances of poly is initialized, I think it's bringing in that default octave, that default ADSR value, which I don't think I wanted to do. So when I update it, it's then creating that clicking noise when I'm changing it, I think. Ugh. Okay, let's go back to what we had before. I'm just gonna have to do this and just resolve to not changing. Wait, what did I just do? Oh no. I meant to unlock the patch. I closed it. Well. Okay, well, this works. This is nice. I like this. I'm enjoying this. I'm going to slow it back down. I'm going to go back. I'm going to change the durations. I'm going to make some longer notes. Make some short notes. Don't scramble everything. let's, this is all a bit messy. I'm just gonna encapsulate all of that. Does it not like being encapsulated? Why does that? On this a little bit. I'm going to play with some of these. Let's have this moving at a different rate. I know that's strictly not necessary because they're moving randomly and they're moving independently of each other, but I'm going to do that anyway. I'll take this. Ooh, apologies. Let's make that a little lower ratio. Let's just move from 0 to 1. In fact, let's move even lower. Let's go lower order FM here. Let's go 0.3 just to start with. So we've just got a little bit of something happening. Okay. Right. That's kind of nice. I feel like we can do better than just bog standard reverb though. Let's get rid of that. Let's try some of the other reverb modes, or let's look at some of the other processes, because I should go at some point soon, but I do want to just get something nice happening here. Let's just look at the effects. What do we got here? So ABL device, delay, echo, limiter, redux, reverb, raw, dark hall. So that's one of the hybrid things. Distortion, doubler, ensemble. I guess chorus. Modal resonator. That's interesting. Is that Ableton's corpus? I wonder. Or is that physical modeling resonator? Overdrive, phaser, pitch shifter, prism, quartz, ring mod, saturator, shimmer, tides. Well, that sounded tides. I wonder what that is. Hybrid reverb, tides algorithm. Okay. Wave shaping distortion. Okay, let's have a little look and see what stereo delay is offering us. Because like delay is one of those like super basic things. So you've got to assume that this is doing more than just tap in and tap out, right? The presets don't seem to be changing the thing. That's interesting. What we got here? So it's got pre-built, inbuilt filtering, modulation, mod frequency. Okay, so it's a fairly basic delay, just with some. Okay, well, what's echo then? Okay. Oh, it's got repitching. I wonder if we can do some nice things there with the shimmer reverb. Let's have a look. Let's throw this in. So what are we? Is it stereo? Mono? It's stereo. Okay. I'm assuming that this is going to run, yeah, we're just going to have a mix, so I'm just going to run 0.5. What other parameters have we got here? Channel mode. So will that let me run like ping pong? Is that what it was? Ping pong bad number. Okay, so number index then. Channel mode 1. Okay, that probably makes more sense. Hey. Okay. And then how am I running in? What am I doing here? Feedback's set there. My delay time. Is it just delay? Is that what it's called? 0.375. I wonder what is that 0.375 of? Because it's not like milliseconds or something. Yeah. Kind of nice. I mean, I'm gonna do one more. I'm just gonna try the shimmer just because I kind of like it. I think, yeah, this is there's less control of these objects than I kind of thought there might be. They are kind of like self-contained boxes rather than opening up loads and loads of parameters. But maybe that's enough, you know? But he says this one's got quite a few inlets. I am going to just set my mix a little lower for this one, I think. Let's just start with that. I'm going to turn this down. And we can just have a little play with the... Sasha saying, isn't delay the delay time in seconds? Oh, yeah, that would make sense, wouldn't it? Thank you. Just really overthinking all of that. So what's my pitch shift? I got this one. This one's semitones, right? Oh yeah. Actually, Echo had pitch shifting as well, didn't it? It had repitch. Oh, okay, so that's not... It looks like this is just a toggle on and off. I can't see like a pitch, so this is repitching. Is this like doing tape speed? Like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, okay, that's what that is. I think my impression was pretty was pretty accurate there. The shimmer thing, yeah, it's a little cheesy here, isn't it? I think it's nice, but it's too much. There's a lot of like brightness in the harmonics because we're using this like FM folding thing, and then I think adding 12 semitones on top is a little much. Of course, we could just... Okay, I'm finishing now. I'm finishing now. But it wouldn't be playing around with Max if we didn't finish on something utterly horrendous. So let's try and see what happens if I run from set. I'm gonna go from a fifth above, 7 semitones above, up to 12, and we're just gonna wobble around within there. This is gonna be horrible, isn't it? Am I gonna regret this instantly? Okay. Maybe what we'll do is I'll say thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for bearing with me as we've kind of taken another tentative step into Max 9. Hopefully I'll do more of these. I've had a lot of fun just playing around, learning some things, getting things wrong, creating error messages. It says, just carefully clearing that, and, you know, making mistakes. So I've had a lot of fun. Thank you for joining me. Let's do this again sometime. Let's see what this does. Oh dear. Sounds so disappointed with me. Because we've got repitch on, this is obviously gonna be... Let's do this again. God, it sounds... Let's take this one. There's just no need for this, is there? We were all hoping for kind of nice blissed out ambient tones, and what we got was so much worse. This is one of those things where I feel like I need to issue a formal apology to the makers of Max Cycling 74 and say, I'm sorry I've done this with your nice new software. Okay. Let's leave this floating through the swamp of this FM synthesizer that nobody needed. Yes, Jeremy, the world's not ready. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. It's been a pleasure. Have a great weekend. Enjoy playing around and making some similarly disgusting noises in Max MSP. Right, I'll see you all next time. See you later.